over there in the meadow. Mom, she's dead. She needs our help. She needs our help, but she is dead. And she's laying face down with her legs up and she can't talk to me. Hello, everybody, and welcome to The Search with Lisa. If this is your first time, my name is Lisa, and I want to welcome you. I do true crime, and I concentrate on missing, murder, and all unsolved, and I also like to bring attention to human and sex trafficking. Also, I upload every Thursday at 8 p.m. A lot of times we love to premiere it so that we can be a part of it as it shows and then leave comments and just kind of if you have any questions. It just, I don't know, I feel it brings some kind of like camaraderie within the community, which is what we are trying to grow. So like I said, if you are new, I hope that you hit that subscribe button and let me know what you think about the video below. If you're returning, thank you, thank you. It has been a journey and we are growing and doing this type of content. It's all about the growth in the community and what all of you do. When I put it out there, if you share it, all it takes is one person to see something or recognize something. And I think we're all in the same boat, knowing that if this was our family, we would want so many people out there helping us. So I don't always do like necessarily high profile cases either. I really try to focus on who needs to get that word out. With that being said, today, y'all, the case that we are going to talk about, there's some parts that I have never ever experienced in doing a case on a missing person. Okay, this case really grabbed me, gave me chill bumps. So yeah, it's definitely different. But let's get into it, okay? So, everybody, make sure you have a snack and a drink and you are relaxing. So, today we are focusing on Sandra Lynn Hughes. She was born on July 26, 1966, and at the time that we are going to discuss, which is in the year 2020, she's 53 years old, okay? Hearing from her friends, I like to just kind of give a little background of what type of person Sandra was. First, I want to say she was known as kind of like a nomad, did a lot of things with herself. She kind of loved to be outside. She was what they would call a survivalist, meaning that she enjoyed doing solo hikes, wilderness things. This was something that was like her extracurricular activity. That was her go-to to decompress. These were things that she loved to do. She did go to college. She did focus on outdoor recreation, learning things about it, but overall, she became an accountant. So we know that you definitely gotta, decompress from that. All day numbers. I can't think of anything better than going out and touching the grass, okay? So that's just, a small part of her life. But overall, from what I could gather, that kind of sums up who she is. So not really out there in your face, but enjoyed life, enjoyed, the environment, respected the environment was a big thing that I heard, was how much she respected the environment, which will help us in this case. So I'm now going to bring you up to 2020. What happened in 2020, guys, that hurt us all from all points of the world was the pandemic. As you know and remember, in March was when it really got out there. I mean, I know we were hearing things before, but March is when we were like, lock your doors and stay inside, mask up, and that's what we were going to do. Although we thought it was only going to be for a few weeks. Yeah, well, we know how that turned out, right, guys? And unfortunately, by going through a lot of stories, I am seeing so much more effects from this pandemic. And this possibly could be another one. So, I will tell you, in the beginning of the year, Sandra was actually living down in Hawaii. And you would think, Hawaii, everybody wants to be in Hawaii. But during lockdown, nothing was that enjoyable. At least you kind of had the beach, though, you could go out to. But still, we were all on time, time restrictions, stuff like that. There was times in Hawaii they weren't letting anybody on the islands. You guys know, and we're getting that. Anyway, she decides she's going to move back home. She ends up moving back to California. All right. So while she is in California, she has now been there, a few months, and she contacts her family on June 26th. And she lets them know that she's going on a solo hiking trip. I know that she was going out to Sierra National Forest. She was going to be in the area of Bass Lake, like slightly above, from what I understand. That is kind of the area I believe that she went into. This starts out as a solo, like wilderness hiking trip, but trails and things that others go on. This is not something where she just walks off the highway in the woods. So it's familiar with other people, okay? So and I kind of think what a great thing. She's following the rules for staying distance from people. She's in an area that she is not at risk, for catching the virus. We thought maybe she possibly could have caught it on her way there, but I don't think so. I think hopefully she got there safely and started her journey safely. But that's what we're going to discuss. So the 26th was the last time that she actually made any contact with any family, friends, or anything. And she heads out on this hike. As she is out there, like I said, there's no phone. She's not contacting anybody. So, with this, I want to bring us to July 1st. All right. So she's been out there now close to a week or so. We have found that shows any sight of her is going to be on July 1st, 2020. Campers called the sheriff's office about an abandoned campsite near Johnson Meadows area in the Sierra National Forest, right, like I said, above Bass Lake. So sounds like to me when she went in, she didn't go too far, and that's where she set up. Now, you wonder, why did they call the cops? Why, where do we go? I'm going to tell you. When they got there, why it was so concerning was when they seen this tent set up, it was like half set up, but things were scattered everywhere. All right. When I mean things, I'm saying there was social security cards, private information, just things that should not have been scattered. It looked kind of trashy. So I'm sure people are used to seeing maybe homeless set up, especially we're talking during the pandemic. No telling what you're going to find out there. But something just didn't sit right with the hikers because of the private information. So if anything, they at least wanted to get that to them, because let's just say maybe they went on a little extra trail for a day or two. Let's get their stuff recovered. So I thought that was a really great, just Samaritan of anything, just thinking that this isn't right. This is private information. Let's get it back. With that being said, a few days later, we come, which is now July 4th. All right. Most of us were not doing much of anything. Maybe in our backyards, there was not many things going on. Remember, we are like really in the height of our pandemic and shutdown. So what better place to actually be out hiking and enjoying camping? But like I said, first, her stuff is disarrayed. So on July 4th, deputies said that they got notified that a car had been crashed near the campsite. So Sheriff Pogue said that after she had crashed her car, there was people that were there witness. This is quote now, offered to help. She declined help. She hung around the vehicle, said Pogue. Her car was identified. It was a silver Saab, and she was on road 5 South 04, which was about a mile from Jaquilla Lake, about 6 miles north of her campsite. So yeah, guys, it's really, going this direction and trying to follow her trail has been really tricky, and doing this research with her and just wondering what is she doing when the people had seen her actually, the car crash. This wasn't like she's speeding through the woods trying to four-wheel in it and hits a tree. I don't know what exactly set it off, but they believe that when she actually like hit the tree, she was doing like 20 miles or less. So it looked like possibly she was just moving it. I'm really not sure, maybe trying to get out of a certain area. And when she hit it, it then kind of slid down to a ravine. So this was not like a major car crash that really injured her, we're hoping, just because of the lack of speed. Like I said, so there was a few people around when she did this. Well, they said that she just got up and kind of looked at everything, did not really say anything as far as like needing help or really wanting to talk with anybody, and said that she was seen just walking like off into the woods. So I think the people just kind of thought, okay, maybe she knows like where she's going. So anyway, it's just like, what in the world, right? Now, I want to tell you, through this, the cops have been reported. So now the family has now been let known about the accidents, just to kind of let them know what's going on. And they're like, no, something is not right. So they went ahead, of course, filed. There was no way of getting a hold of her. Things were not going right. They don't know why she would have left her car like that. They end up going ahead and filing a missing persons report, okay, right around these dates. The National Park Service says a few days after the crash, Hughes' sleeping bag was found inside Yosemite National Park, about 2.5 miles from the crash scene. Massive searches took place for about a month after she vanished. So we're going to say into August, all through July. From what I understand, there was what they call like a creek fire that actually led to delays past the winter, which didn't help either. So sounds like, there was some fires out there which, remove. They said they can be good, it can be bad, because it does kind of get away some extra debris, which can bring up stuff that maybe was covered, but at the same time, it can also hinder any evidence. So, just to catch you up before we keep going further, she goes into the woods. The first thing that is recognized is a disarrayed campsite. The tent doesn't look good, all her personal information. Talking with her family, they state, and her friends, that is not her. I believe it was one of her nieces, but at least I know it was a family member that states, like, that is not who she was. She was very big in the environment, which is why I brought that up earlier, that she would never just walk away from a campsite and just leave it trashy. Right? She would not do that. That was not her style. She was someone that did a lot of hiking and camping and well respected it. So that's showing like a red flag right there. Then, of course, she goes on a few days later, back to the car, doing something, crashes the car, but yet just leaves it there, doesn't ask for help, anything of those natures, okay? Also, kind of weird, right? I mean, don't you think that if you had messed your car up, it's like, okay, let's put a halt on the whole camping, all that good stuff, and let's get the car towed, whatever we need to do, and get back on site. So something, guys, it's not quite right. I, had kind of talked about, could she have possibly caught COVID, going there? And the only reason I say that was, maybe was she under the weather, did something like fevers, anything like that. It was really bad at that time. Just something to make her, was she in a Was her mental health off? Was something was off. Something was definitely off. All right. So we're moving forward. They go out, they do these searches, everything they need to do, try to do. They putting flyers out about her, what she was wearing. She was about 5'3", 150 pounds. She had brown hair. I believe that she was wearing a black shirt and blue jeans at the time. Okay, that when she went in. And so that's kind of what her description was. Well, I want to tell you this. Between that happening, there was another time where some hikers actually came across her. All right. At this time, these hikers stated that they didn't get real close to her, but close enough that like they made eye contact with her and just kind of like, hey, just like that. But she really did not do anything to reach out to speak with them or like say that there was anything going wrong. Now, remember, they did not know she was missing or, on the radar to get reported to her or anything like that. So this is just them walking and seeing somebody. But what they did say later, finding out that she was missing, that she definitely looked thinner than in her pictures, that her face was a lot thinner. Said that she noticed she had a little bruise on her face, which could have been from the car accident. Maybe she just kind of like when she hit the tree, maybe she just got a jar. She could have fell, anything. But they did notice a little bruise. Oddly, though, they said that she was wearing like overalls and like a flowery kind of shirt underneath it. So she had changed clothes, which I want to tell y'all. Remember her campsite, all things were kind of gone. At the car crash, everything's kind of disheveled and like left around. Where are we picking the clothes up? I don't know. It's different. It's kind of confusing. But what I want to say is the reason that the hikers were able to say that was later after they got out. They did see the missing flyers, stuff like that, and again reported it. Okay, so this is how we're getting the information. I'm kind of having to tell you the after the facts of what was reported in and then share the story with you. So, guys, a year has about gone by now. We're in 2021. And after the searches and the flyers up, I mean, nobody's really saying anything other than, there was a few that passed her. We've seen the tent, the sleeping bag, and the car incident. All right. And other than that, it's like she just vanished. Nobody seen anything. Nothing. Nothing. No rangers. No nothing. Until something very odd happened. And I will let you decide if you think that this was a sighting and a cry for help from her. About a year after, around, I believe it happened around July-ish, like August, something like that. Get ready, guys. Put your drinks down. Put your drinks down. Jack Gorba and his wife, Victoria, and 3 kids decided they would take their four-wheelers up to Shut-Eye Peak on Wednesday. The family stopped to eat lunch, and that's when a couple's 3-year-old, Caden, began talking to someone. He was just in our car, and he was pointing out to a certain spot in the meadow, said Victoria. I'm reading exactly, okay? Caden, like I said, 3 years old, told his parents there was a woman lying face down with her legs straight up in the air in a nearby meadow. According to Caden, the woman was unable to speak or move and needed help. He flat out told us, Mom, she's dead. She needs our help. And that's why I got the goosebumps. And I was like, oh my gosh. This is the mom saying that. This all happened when the Gorba family stopped just for lunch. He goes, yeah, there's a lady over there in the meadow. She's in a black shirt. And I got goosebumps, said Victoria again. He says she needs our help, but she is dead. And she's laying face down with her legs up, and she can't talk to me. She's over there. We need to go help her. So Jake and Victoria, the parents, checked out the meadow, but saw nothing. He kept saying, trust me, Mom. And I was like, I trust you, but you know I believe you 100%, said Victoria. The family was so spooked about this because it was so real by what their 3-year-old was adamantly sharing with them that they decided to end their day early. I mean, it shooketh. It was shooketh, okay? I mean, I think we all would have been like, whoa, you know? So she said they ended their day early and headed home. Then they posted about the strange occurrence on Facebook. So again, they didn't know. This is, like I said, like almost a year later. All right. So they didn't know about this like missing, situation or Sandra. They didn't know anything about this. Okay. So she said, we put it on Facebook to see if anybody knew anything about this area and to come find out that there was this lady missing with the description that he described to us within the 5-mile radius of where we were, said Victoria. Now, Sandra Hughes had gone missing, as you know, in that area in June of 2020. According to Victoria, her 3-year-old's detailed description of the woman's hair, clothing was identical to the description of Hughes. Now, one thing I did not bring a lot of attention to while telling you this story was because I really wanted to bring this into you. Also, I think that it also helps when the cops know that whoever was the witness that would see them, when they would make this identifying mark, that they knew that they were saying like who it was. And that's how they were able to verify that it was her, when the hikers would see. He was very adamant that we needed to help her, and he described her down to her blue hair. He said she had black shirt, blue jeans, blue hair. Mom, that's the exact description of her when she went missing, folks. Yes, her hair was blue. She actually was a natural brunette, but she had dyed her hair blue. And when she had left that day out, she was wearing a black shirt and blue jeans. Victoria says Caden was also able to identify the woman he'd seen in 3 out of the 4 photos of her. So what they did is they put 4 pictures of her kind of looking a little different, her normal color hair, and one with blue hair. And he identified 3 of them, especially the blue hair. Okay. The Madera County Sheriff Corporal Chris Williams saw the Facebook post and contacted the family to further investigate. The corporal in charge of the case actually reached out to Facebook and was like, hey, we want more information and we want to bring these guys up there to see if you could point us in the direction. So basically, they wanted them to say, please show us where you were. We're going to go search and look in this area. Now, mind you, Caden, the 3-year-old, is the only one that claims to see anything. The parents did not. They went over. They seen him talking. He was pointing. I mean, it was so real that it gave them chills, guys, that they left early. Like they did not finish. It was serious, guys. Very serious. Why? How would a 3-year-old know all this when they didn't even know? They didn't even know anything about somebody missing. Blue hair. I mean, describes her to a T. On that Thursday, two Madera County Sheriff's deputies traveled back up to the meadow with Jake and his son to investigate. The deputies found no new evidence, and the case remains open. Victoria says if she was possibly a ghost looking for some help, I hope that he could have at least helped and maybe helped the family find her, because it's been a long time apparently since she's been gone, said Victoria. The four-wheelers that the family was traveling in when this was all experienced happened is now referred to, the four-wheelers actually referred to as the Ghost Runner. The family says they will continue visiting the different trails up in the mountains, but there are definitely some spots they won't stop at anymore. So guys, the Madera sheriffs confirmed that they did receive a report of a possible sighting, and they went out to the location for any leads, but no new evidence was found. So guys, as of right now, the case remains open, and unfortunately, we are now in March of 2024, and there has been no more leads, no more anything, no hikers running in. So like I said, we don't know why her tent looked like it did. We don't know why she left her car abandoned. We don't know why she did not reach out for help when people came across her to just say, like, I'm stranded or I'm stuck or I've ran out of my food. I need to get. I don't know. I don't know why these things happen. But most of all, I can't get past how a 3-year-old claimed to see her and describe her and needed help. We needed to help her. So I'm very interested to know what y'all think about this case, and what do we think about little Caden that's seen this? Has anybody else experienced something like this? Has anybody else child? Because it is been known to say that kids can see spirits and angels. A lot of times it's more in babies, but maybe this little fella has something special in him, and this is like one of his first encounters. And if so, then unfortunately, we know that she is no longer with us. So, with that being said, I am going to leave all the information below where you can contact the county and let them know, Madera County, and let them know if you have seen her, if you have any leads on this situation, on this case. Anything will help. Any tip that you think is little. If you just pass somebody and it just resembles the pictures, contact, let them know. Also, I know that it's been asked that if you are thinking that you recognize her, to ping the area, especially if you are hiking, if you are out in the woods and you are on a trail, ping the area. But please, guys, the family is devastated. They don't know why she would do this, even though she was somebody that liked to do things. She had no intentions on leaving. She notified her family to let them know that she was leaving. So that tells me it was like, hey guys, don't panic if you don't hear from me a little bit. Gonna do a little trip, get out some. I've been stuck in this house like we all were feeling. That pandemic did so much to people. So much. In the aftermath, we are still picking up the pieces. Before I always end the search, if you are new here, please stay to the end. This ribbon represents a prayer of justice, and I put on their age. She was 54 at the time. Sandra Hughes, last talked to by family on June 26, 2020. So I ask everybody to please hold her in your prayers and know that we have not forgot her, and let her family know that we have not forgot her. This was a very different case, and that last spin on it definitely was something that I've never experienced telling in all the years that I've been doing these cases. So please let me know in the comments, and please share. Sharing, it's free, it helps. We need every eye on this. She has not been found. It has not been that long, only 2020. I know it's a long time to be missing, but there's hope at least to bring her home in whatever way that is. We want to know what happened to her. So again, I will leave all the information in my description. And thank you very much for sitting with me and listening to this episode on Sandra Lynn Johnson Hughes. And I will see you on the next search. Good night, everybody.